Kevin Astley here, play-by-play for the Abby Canucks. You got it locked on the Line Change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, Canucks Nation? Welcome back to the Line Change. And hey, if this is your first time here, welcome to the Line Change. Now, at the start of the year, we called this the Hoglander Revenge Tour. But the roadblocks started before the tour even began. First, it was the severe ankle injury in the very first preseason game that sidelined him until December. But since his return, Hoglander has hit a much more concerning obstacle, the healthy scratch. He's been out of the lineup 6 different times for a total of 13 games, and now, with only 12 games left in the season, the coaching staff perhaps could be starting to lose patience with Nils Hoglander. Today, we're diving into Hoglander's own comments on his struggle, the blunt assessment from Adam Foote, and the reality of this situation. Is this a last stand, or is the door officially closing on Nils Hoglander's future in Vancouver? Is he destined to follow the same path as Vasily Podkolzin? Let's get into it. Now, Ian McIntyre wrote an amazing article over on Sportsnet. Highly recommend you guys check it out. And he actually talks to the man himself. That is Nils Hoglander. He speaks to Hoglander, and Hoglander talks about his struggles, talks about how him being in and out of the lineup has really affected his confidence. And obviously, if you're in and out of the lineup, you're not going to build confidence if that keeps happening. So he also talks about, how hard he worked in the summer prior to his injury. So this is some really great stuff. Let's bring up the article and let's go through it together. Of course, Ian McIntyre titles this Canucks' Hoglander motivated to finish challenging season strong. Well, he's not going to be able to do that if he's constantly in and out of the lineup. I know he was in the lineup the other night, but of course, none of the Canucks got any points, in that game. They didn't end up scoring. They got shut out. So obviously Hoglander didn't do much in that game when it comes to getting on the score sheet. But let's take a look at this and see what Hoglander himself has to say. Nils Hoglander's season peaked in training camp. We know you could pretty much say that about the Vancouver Canucks team. But for Hoglander, the 25-year-old whose NHL career seems to be back where it started, every day has been a challenge since he broke his ankle in the Canucks' first preseason game against the Calgary Flames on September 24th. After a disappointing season last year when his scoring plummeted to 8 goals from 24 the year prior, the Swedish winger reported to training camp in Penticton as the best conditioned Canuck. He looked excellent at camp, fast and direct and hungry. I feel like I was working my ass off the whole summer. Then I had a really good camp, Hoglander told Sportsnet after Wednesday's practice. Then I scored in my first preseason game. Then the next shift, I broke my ankle. And since then, it's been hard. In his 6th NHL season, and after signing a 3-year, $9 million contract extension 2 years ago to be an important middle six piece for the Canucks, Hoglander has 1 goal in 28 games and has become a semi-regular scratch on the league's worst team. The victim of an awkward mid-ice collision, Hoglander required surgery and did not make his season debut until December 8th. Since his first 3 games, the left winger's ice time has surpassed 12 minutes in only 6 contests. Coach Adam Foote has removed the left winger from the Canucks lineup 6 times for a total of 13 games, including Tuesday's 5-3 loss against the Anaheim Ducks. Foote said that Hoglander will play on Thursday against the Kings. We already mentioned that he did play against the Kings, and the player is desperate to generate some positivity and confidence over Vancouver's final 12 games. I think if I can finish this off, then I can go into the summer with good confidence and have a good summer to just get back even more excited for next year. Hoglander said, that's the mindset you've got to have. Otherwise, if you get grumpy now and say just screw it, then you're going to go into the summer with that same attitude. So nice little bit of accountability on Hoglander's part, and a lot of maturity coming from Hoglander there. I think for every player, that's the worst thing. When you go in and out of the lineup, you play 2 games and you're out, and then you're back in, and you don't really get those minutes you used to play. That's the worst for a player, the hardest thing. Hoglander's only goal this season was March 4th, his 22nd game of the year. Hoglander's poor season previously was 22-23, which amounted to a remedial campaign as the Canucks sent him to the AHL to work on some basics he didn't need to master before the organization rushed him into the NHL from Sweden as a 21-year-old rookie. The 2019 second-round pick had 3 goals and 9 points in 25 NHL games in 22-23. This season, he has 1 goal and 3 assists in 28 games. He's doing a lot of great things, but he's gripping it right now, Foote told reporters. It's not about the goals, it's about managing the puck, managing his ice. It's not because he's not trying, he's trying hard. Foote said the coaching staff is working with Hoglander to make better decisions with the puck, particularly when he's under pressure along the boards, and to shorten his shifts so he and the team aren't getting caught defensively. It's not because he can't do it, it's almost like he's stuck in trying too hard to get the goals. Foote explained he's so valuable down below, the faceoff dots that is, that when he's going to just make the right decisions, that'll help him but also help the group. Hoglander's decision-making with the puck was a talking point after last week's 6-2 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning when he twice was in excellent shooting positions on a 2-on-1 but forced passes that did not connect. I mean, that's a confidence thing, Hoglander said. I was talking about it the other day. Like, if you have confidence, you do something else there. You know you're not trying to find the pass. You really want to score that one. That's a confidence thing for sure. I feel like every time you get pulled out of the lineup, you feel like you're not good enough, and that takes your confidence down too. And as a player, confidence is everything. You see it with every player. They talk to me. It's details and small things I've got to get better at. But then when you go in and out of the lineup like that, it's hard to prove you can earn the trust to do it. And he's 100% correct on that. Foote said assistant coach Scott Young, who scored 342 goals as an NHL player, has been working with Hoglander. Scott's message was like, just don't make it harder on yourself. Foote said, like I said, he does so many good things below the tops of the circles, so it's just a couple of things that will help him be more predictable and have more consistency. Philip Hronek, Brock Besser, and Evander Kane were given maintenance days on Wednesday. Asked if Hronek, who has rarely practiced recently, is managing an injury, Foote said if he was and he's not, I wouldn't tell you. I'm just going to say right now, I do not like that quote at all. There were 2 wild-on-wild altercations involving defenseman Z. Bouillon during battle drills near the end of practice. Marco Rossi exchanged sharp slashes with his former Minnesota teammate before a Canuck intervened, and then Bouillon then caught another former Wild teammate, Liam Ogren, high with a reverse hit. Bouillon downplayed the skirmishes, explaining it was just friends competing. So, little tidbit from practice on Wednesday, but the main part of this whole thing is obviously, Hoglander. And, him talking about it being a confidence thing, well, that's just it. The guy's not going to gain confidence if you're going to keep, having him in the lineup, out of the lineup, in the lineup, out of the lineup. He's not going to gain that confidence back, and he's not going to do what you want him to do if he's not playing. It's pretty simple, really. I mean, I respect the fact that, Foote and, Scott Young are trying to instill something into Hoglander, get him to do something, but you got to give him a chance. You got to give him a shot to do this, not just 1 or 2 games and then you're out of the lineup and then you want him to try it again or gain that confidence again. It just doesn't work that way, especially in a season where it doesn't matter. The Canucks are already eliminated from the playoffs. They're not playing for anything right now, except for maybe pride at this point. But even if you guys saw that that game against the Kings, we didn't even really see that, them playing for pride, except for maybe at the very end there when that little brouhaha happened. But that was about it, and it was just Bouillon and Verlander, and I guess Carlson as well. But everyone else, they weren't playing for pride at all. So I think, you guys know my thoughts on Adam Foote and how he's coached this team this year. I feel as though he needs to go. He's not doing the right things. I think he's and you would think, at this point in the season and after everything that's happened this season, you would think he'd be, hell-bent on trying to protect his job and make sure he continues next year. Doing shit like this is not going to help keep your job. especially when you got Hoglander, who's 25 years old. He's still young, even though this is his 6th season, and I get that. He's still young. And sure, he's a lot. He's further along than guys like Hoglander, Bouillon, Ogren, guys like that. He's further along, yes, but he's still relatively young, and you need to have him in the lineup, like I just mentioned. If we go over to this real quick, like I mentioned, the Canucks are not playing for anything right now. They are dead last in the NHL, and the closest team to them, who is also, by the way, eliminated from the playoffs, is the New York Rangers. They're 15 points ahead, and the Canucks have, 11 games left. I don't think the Canucks are going to catch the Rangers at this point. You think they're going to rattle off 11 wins? No, when they basically, let's see here, do a little bit of math, which is not my strong suit, I will admit. Okay, so I mean, if the Canucks win what 10 of their 9 or 10 of their 11, they could potentially catch up to the Rangers, but the Rangers would obviously have to lose all those games. But do you really think that's going to happen? Not if you're being realistic. Now, the Canucks have basically got 32nd place on lock. So you're not playing for wins or losses. So play the freaking young guys. Play Hoglander. Obviously, we've seen them play Hoglander. We've seen them play Bouillon. We've seen them play Carlson, Sasson. I know Sasson has been a healthy scratch recently. And I know. Foot wants Evander Kane to hit 1,000 games. And he's potentially going to on Monday. And I mean, I was about to say I hate to say this, but I don't actually hate to say this because really I don't. But I couldn't give two shits about Evander Kane hitting 1,000 games. I could not give two shits because I do not care. I want to see these young guys play, and keeping Kane in the lineup, keeping him in the top 6 for starters. You can have him on the 4th line, and he can still get to his 1,000 games. He doesn't have to be in the top 6. But I do not like the fact that they're playing Kane so he can get to 1,000 games, but is that for the most part at the expense of Nils Hoglander? I do not like that one bit. And that's not just me being a Kane hater. I mean, cool. Call me that, whatever you want. You can call me that. I don't care. You are trying to get a 34, 35-year-old to 1,000 games. I mean, sure, that is a great accomplishment, but at this point, I could care less. I'd rather see Nils Hoglander play than Evander Kane, and I'll tell you that for free. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So yeah. So I don't get this whole thing with Foot, and I mean, yes, Hoglander's not perfect. No player is perfect, but if you want to instill confidence in Nils Hoglander, he's got to play. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys agree with me? If you want to instill confidence and have Hoglander maybe try and salvage a little bit of this season, let him play. Let him freaking play. There's 11 games left. There's no harm in it. So that is my take on that. But as I mentioned, this was a great article by iMac. iMac always has the great articles over on Sportsnet. There's another one that I'm going to be doing a video on that talks about, the Canucks and what they can learn from the Anaheim Ducks. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be the next video coming out. Definitely check that one out once I put it up. But that one's going to be a good one as well. But I want to know, again, what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me on Nils Hoglander? Do you think he needs to be given a shot? And as I mentioned earlier at the beginning, if this continues, is there a chance that Nils Hoglander doesn't have a future here in Vancouver? They may ship him out. if they feel as though he's not improving, or they feel as though he's not playing to their system, to their style. Could you see him following the same path as Vasily Podkolzin? Do you see the Canucks potentially giving up on Hoglander and trading him away like they did with Podkolzin, and then Hoglander shines wherever he ends up? I mean, there could be a potential possibility that, if the Canucks want to move up in the draft, they may dangle Hoglander as a little bargaining chip. I know his value is probably nada right now, but maybe another team would take a look at Hoglander and be like, we'll play him. No, we think he's got some good stuff. We'll actually play him and see how he does. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Do you guys think there's a chance Nils Hoglander will not be wearing a Vancouver Canucks jersey next season? I certainly hope that won't be the case, because I am a big fan of Hoglander, and I want to see this kid develop even more. He showed that promise a couple seasons ago, but Adam Foote really needs to go. He needs to, enough with this, excuse my language, shit with Hoglander. Needs to play him. And it's like what us Canuck fans have been saying. Put him with Petey. He's got chemistry with Petey. They've played together. They're friends. And it's not just because they're friends. They have chemistry. It's worked. Give it a shot. Don't just sprinkle it in here and there. Have it in. Who knows? Maybe once Kane hits his 1,000 games, maybe they'll play Hoglander more. I don't know. I'm not really banking on it, because this is Adam Foote we're talking about. But once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this? And what do you guys think about Nils Hoglander's future here in Vancouver? If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the line change so you don't miss more in-depth analysis of your Vancouver Canucks. Let's take a look at the NHL draft odds for today. As I believe I mentioned last night on the post game that there's only 2 games on tonight. Let me bring it up. Yes, there's only 2 games on tonight. I believe we did the Blackhawks and Rangers last night, so we'll do the Detroit Red Wings and we'll do the Detroit Red Wings and the Buffalo Sabres. The Red Wings are a plus 1.5 and a minus 198 on the puck line. The Buffalo Sabres are a minus 1.5 and a plus 164 on the puck line. The Red Wings are a plus 120 on the money line, and the Sabres are a minus 142 on the money line. Please keep in mind, these odds are subject to change, and of course, please play responsibly. Now, I want to give a shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this video, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next line change.